To begin, the first thing we need to do is all be on the same page. A recession is a time of economic shrinkage due to many different causes. This is part of the business cycle and is expected to happen from time to time in the economy. The last recession that hit the economy was a big one, known as the Great Recession. It started late 2007 and ended mid-2009. This shocked economists and changed the economy forever. The only thing that is now on economists' minds is when the next recession will come. It has been almost 10 years since the last recession hit, and this is much longer than an expansion usually occurs. According to the National Bureau of Economic Research, the longest period between recessions was 120 months from March of 1991 to March of 2001. This was by no means natural for the economy, with the average expansion not even lasting half as long. David Von Drell, a veteran journalist and author from the Washington Post, agrees with this, saying, "History suggests that the next recession is not far off. From the current expansion, though relatively weak, has been steady since June 2009, making this the third longest upward climb on record. Just when the 2020 elections begin to warm up in spring of 2019, if the economy, if it isn't already in recession, will break the existing record and begin testing the outer limits of the cycle. This means that a recession is just around the corner, and that is not the only sign of one coming." In Jeff Schulz's article on Business Insider titled 10 Signs That a Recession Isn't Imminent, he lists off several factors that can hint towards an impending recession, but only one seems to point to anything. He said, "Only one data point is a flashing warning sign: corporate profits. Corporate profit margins in the last peaked in 2014. Historically, they have peaked ahead of recessions. Narrowing the corporate profit margins can lead to less capital investment and hiring, ultimately resulting in higher unemployment, lower consumer spending, and a declining in economic growth. This means that if there is a constant increase in corporate profits, that a recession is coming." If we look at a graph of corporate profits, then we can see this kind of trend in recent years. After 2007, there was a large dip in corporate profits because of the recession, but other than that, it has been on a steady increase since the beginning of 2016. Another sign of an up-and-coming recession is the fluctuations in the unemployment rate. The natural unemployment rate of the United States, or the unemployment rate at which the economy is at equilibrium for the current United States, is about 4.7%. If we look at a graph of the current unemployment rate in the United States, we see a spike in the unemployment rate during the 2008 recession and a steady decline until today. The current unemployment rate is 4.1%. This means that the economy is currently producing at a rate which cannot be maintained. This means that eventually the economy will collapse because of this overproduction. Casey Sanjay, leader of Axonometrics, a real-page company specializing in monitoring the apartment and student housing markets to provide an in-depth view of volatile market trends, posted an article in Forbes which stated, "When the unemployment rate falls below 5%, as it had in all but 2 months since January 2016, the recession usually follows within the next 2 or 3 years." My last sign of an up-and-coming recession is the real gross domestic product. If we look at a graph showing the United States real GDP, then you can see a recession always follows a constant growth of the real GDP. And given the fact that the real GDP has been growing since 2009, this means a recession is coming. As for when I believe the next recession is coming, given all of the data that I just showed, that would be by the end of this year or the beginning of next year. This is because of the fact that unemployment rate is under the natural unemployment rate, and this will take time to wear out the economy. The reason it is so soon because of the length of the current expansion is about to break the current records for one of the longest ones in history. The next recession may not be happening tomorrow, but it is most definitely on our doorstep.